What is up, everyone? This is Bevan with Den of Geek. I am here at New York Comic Con to talk to the cast of Lincoln, coming to you soon on NBC. Let's go talk to them, shall we? Speaking of just doing research and stuff, did you go talk to the police department, talk to the homicide department?
No, the big thing for me was, I walked through the city over a course of 3 or 4 days, just reimagining the city, just seeing the city at ground level again. But also, I worked with Gary Baisley, who is a Q4 quadriplegic, and just taking that time to go to his PT and just talking about his accident, how that happened to him, and then when going to his physical therapy, meeting other Q4s, 5s, and 6s, and seeing different how their movement is restricted, how their restriction affects how they talk, and where do they talk from in their body, all of these things, so I can be, first of all, a responsible actor, but also deal with the authenticity, of the disability. And and Gary was very honest. He said, "Listen, you're gonna have to take some liberties because it is television, but and I get that." And so he's on set every day, watching and giving notes, watching from the monitors, and and saying, "Hey, try this or think about that when you're doing this," and it's great. And so and I feel like if we finish a scene or an episode and he gives me the thumbs up, then I've done my job. And I think that's what's most important.
How method did we get for this role?
Not very method. I think Guare said in 6 Degrees of Separation, the imagination, that's our out. Mm-hmm. And so it's really all about that. I was told a story when Sir Laurence Olivier was working with Dustin Hoffman in Marathon Man, and Dustin Hoffman was going crazy in shambles and not being able to get there, and then Sir Laurence said to him, "Try acting." And so you just think about that. You can only go but so deep.
Right.
And you just have to be an actor, I think, and be a skilled actor, be a researched actor, be an imaginative actor, be a thinking actor, but also a feeling actor, I think is important as well.
And have rhythm. Yes. But I want to know, are we in the room where it happens?
I am in the room where it happens. We are in the room where it happens. It happens here. It happens now.
What else was in the room where it happens?
Yes. The room where it happens.
Yeah.
Who knows how the game is played? Yeah, all that good stuff.
Good. How many realms did you delve into to prepare?
Preparing for Emilia was really important to me. I'm continuing to as we're filming now, but I'm still meeting with female detectives. I'm still working with both cops and detectives, going to the precincts, putting myself in their world. My character suffers from PTSD and multiple anxiety disorders, so doing a lot of research around that, but also just bringing my own experiences to the table. And most importantly, just really bringing this character to life. I was a fan of the books, a fan of the movie, and now I'm going okay, how can I honor those Emilias and co-create to make my own Emilia? And it's really exciting.
Yeah, what was the most interesting tip you learned from the cops?
That the belts for females are not made differently than the belts for male cops. Therefore, when you wear them with, it's your tool belt essentially with your gun and your flashlights and everything, your hips, if you're a woman, your hips go numb as you're wearing them. And I talked to them about it. I'm like, is this normal? Because for a month after we were filming, my hips were still numb from wearing the belt. And they're like, yeah, after 6 months, you just get used to it. That was shocking to me.
In terms of the forensic studies of these things too, did they teach you any cool new tips that you never knew?
Well, I did see some cases that were very, very intense and quite shocking to my system. But, I thought I kind of left there in shock. But at the same time, I was grateful for it because I was like, you know what, that is the reaction that anyone would have headed into this. And then at a certain point, you almost have to teach yourself how to numb out to these shocking cases. So I feel like what I'm experiencing as me, I just put right back into Emilia, and because she's learning how to do this job for the first time.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And it's always so interesting when you go from book to screen to, now a TV series. What particular character trait did you really want to have transition into the series?
all of Angelina. No, I'm just kidding.
Just all of her.
All of her.
Emoting her.
No, I don't think there's one trait, honestly. This is such a colorful project for me and a colorful character, and I think that's why I love going to work every day. And at one day, I'm crying, doing an action scene, upset, having a panic attack. I mean, I really get to do it all with this character, and so I'm just learning to vibe with that, and find the layers within that.
Since you've been a detective in so many different types of shows, have you learned anything new working on this show from the forensic department or the homicide department or the NYPD?
Well, this detective is now, it's been a while since I played a detective and years go by, so now I'm a detective in his 50s, which is very different than a detective in his 30s or 40s, because A, you have a wealth of experience, B, you are, looking for
seasoned
retirement in some way, seasoned. So what does that mean? And how does that affect what you're doing and what you're trying to help other people learn? I have a partner who's much younger than me. Who am I to that person? What can I teach that person? What am I bringing from my wealth of experience? How has the job and the department changed? Salito quite feasibly could have gone on the job in the late 80s.
Stuff has expanded since then.
Things have changed.
Like what, does he have a different specialty than the past detectives?
Well, he has much more connection to the street, I think. Is
Okay.
Where he came from, and that kind of instinct rather than by the book kind of way of doing things, which is not so much his thing. It's much more instinctual. It's much more about reading people, which Lincoln would never agree with, because Lincoln's all about facts, evidence, crime scene. What did they actually? And Salito's more like, this guy looks like, you know what I mean?
I don't like how he's looking at me.
Well, that's sometimes how, yeah.
It works?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, you see someone looking suspicious. Well, what does that mean?
Could be insecurity.
It could be, but if you have the eye of a seasoned detective, it could be criminal activity, right?
I was in the room where it happens, and it's going to be mysterious and magical. Go check out Lincoln when it comes out on NBC. This is Bevan with Den of Geek. I'll see you later at the con.